Hey guys, we're back with another VHS haul. I actually got a couple of video games as well, and some comic books, which I thought would be fun to show off. I'm not really a huge comic book collector, but when I'm out thrifting and I see them, if it's something interesting, I'll usually pick it up, and I actually did go to a comic book store recently. I grabbed a couple things there, and I have a ton of VHS tapes. Now, I kind of tried to break it up, where I have VHS tapes that are mostly kid-friendly, like a ton of cartoons. And then I had another stack where I had gotten a ton of horror stuff. And I decided we'll do the horror stuff probably next month in October. The official spooky season, if you want to call it that. And we'll do more of the kid-friendly stuff now. So let's kick it off. We'll try to run through this quick. Let me show some of the comics that I thought were pretty cool. So these I had got from the comic book store. I got The Punisher, which I've been actually going through and reading the Punisher comics. Recently, I found some at a thrift store. I saw this. I thought the cover was really cool. I really enjoyed the Punisher when I was a kid, and years later now, I've been playing the arcade game and I really enjoy it. So it's just been fun to pick up the comics when I see them. Now this one, I absolutely love the cover. There was no way I wasn't gonna leave without it. It's Treehouse of Horror Simpsons. Really cool. Again, like I just thought the cover was so awesome. I had to take it. They had a couple others, but that one was like $25, so I was like, I'll grab one. If I come back, maybe I'll get another issue. There's this Luke Cage. Pretty cool. Avengers. Really cool. One of my favorite things about going through these comics is all the ads. Like when I started picking up comics at the thrift store and looking through them and seeing all the old ads that you would see in them, it really brought me back because I forgot how important print media used to be, and it really had a big impact on our everyday lives. And going back and seeing all these ads, it just really is like a perfect time capsule for that era. And I forgot how much I missed that. Oh, and also Biker Mice from Mars, which I enjoy. And then I found all these at a thrift store. It's just a ton of Batman comics. And the thing that I thought was like really cool about it was that they're all in the style of the animated series. Hold on, as I'm losing my microphone, let me reposition this here. Cool. So the thing that I thought was really cool about it was all in the style of Batman the Animated Series, and then the later Batman and Robin adventures. So, I mean, it just looked so cool. I wanted to bring them home with me. Okay, so we'll just quickly look at the video games that I picked up. So, iToy Operation Spy. I really liked the iToy when it came out. I was super into it. I only ever had one game. I picked up a couple other games now. I did a video on the Nicktoons. I think it's like Nicktoons Movin'. It's their iToy game. So I thought that was fun and it was cheap. I figured why not grab it. Gears of War Judgment. Never played it. Whenever I see an Xbox 360 game, I really like that console. It's still like one of the only consoles I'll pick up a game for and play through the whole entire game. And just some really fun games on there. Borderlands. Never played it. I have no idea really what this series is about. And then I got this from Retro Source in Farmingville. SeaWorld Adventure Park, Shamu's Deep Sea Adventures. I absolutely adore all these oddball games. And I mean, when you start collecting as much as I have here, it gets to a point where it's like, you know, what else is there to collect? So whenever I see something weird like this, I always pick it up. And the stores have to love me because I don't imagine, they're pushing out too many Shamu games at, $5. So whenever I see a cheap, weird game, I'm all about it. Now the fun stuff, VHS tapes. So my sister-in-law had actually sent me these 3 tapes. She always, whenever she goes to the thrift store, she'll take pictures of the VHS section and be like, hey, is there anything here that you might be interested in? So we got Caddyshack, pretty good. Dude, Where's My Car? And Batteries Not Included. I've actually never seen this movie, and I always wanted to check it out, so this seems like the perfect format to watch it on. And then Caddyshack and Dude, Where's My Car? I haven't seen these since I was a kid, so that's going to be really fun to go back and watch again. These 2 tapes I just got from the thrift store today. We'll just take a look at it. Ninja Turtles 3. I have it already, but whenever you see a Turtles tape, I feel like you just have to pick it up. If not for yourself, just pass it on to one of your friends or something. And then The Real World, which, interesting, I wouldn't even think that they would have put this out on VHS, so I thought it was an interesting find. I grabbed it. Muppet Treasure Island. Everyone always asks me about my Muppet movies, Fraggle Rock. I gave away just about every Muppet Fraggle Rock tape that I had gotten. I think I still have a couple, like maybe like the Muppet Christmas Carol and maybe a couple other things, but I was never a huge Muppet fan. Miss Piggy always really annoyed me as a kid, so whenever it was on, I just didn't care for it at all. The Adventures of Timmy the Tooth. Now, these covers are really fun. I have one where... do I have it over here? Spooky Tooth. Just a really fun series, and I saw this tape at a thrift store, so, you gotta bring it home with you. So, Shark Tale, kind of an odd time in animation history. I know a lot of people always kind of talk trash about this movie. I think it was fine. I liked it. I actually had the Game Boy Advance game as a kid, so... and I think I have maybe the Xbox game, or maybe it's on PS2. But I always do the thing where, if I have a video game, I want to have the accompanying media to go with it, and preferably VHS. So I have to have it in my collection. So this is a cool one, Static Shock. This was a great series. It was sealed, and I must have ripped it accidentally. But that's okay. I hate keeping things wrapped up in plastic. If I'm buying it and it's going into my collection, it's gonna be played with. It's gonna be taken out and watched. I purposely will buy things that are open rather than buying things that are sealed, so I don't have that like pressure to keep it sealed and keep it pristine. I'd rather have something a little ratty, something that's been used and has lived a little bit, so I can really enjoy it and not have any reservations about it. We'll keep going with the superheroes. So we got the Incredible Hulk, Spider-Woman, Fantastic Four, and Pride of the X-Men, which was a precursor to the animated series that we all know. And this one is actually what the arcade game is based on. It's not based on the animated series. Transformers. This one is Energon. I'm not familiar with this series. I'm going to have to pop it in and give it a watch. And same with this one. So these are really cool. I know everyone always asks me about Transformers. I just kind of briefly talked about it in a video I put out recently. But I am more familiar with the original series. I used to rent the movie and the old episodes, and that was what I'm really familiar with. Daredevil vs. Spider-Man. I've been wanting to pick this up for so long. I have the series of, I think it's Spider-Man vs. The Green Goblin, and then there was Spider-Man, the Ultimate Villain Showdown. This was kind of in that same series of tapes, so I wanted to get this to kind of complete the series. I think I still need Doc Ock. That might be the only one left that I don't have, but these were really cool tapes. They have the blue accent piece on the top of it, so that's kind of neat. And just, the animated series for Spider-Man, I think it's one of the best cartoons from that era. Got a little Dragon Ball Z. I know people always ask me about my Dragon Ball Z tapes. I don't really have a lot. I have a couple of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, but I try not to collect too much of it because it's like, it's just endless. They have so many tapes for it, and it's kind of like, where do you stop? I want to have, like, I grew up watching this, loved the series, loved the toys. It was a really big part of my life for you know, a few years, but it's, you know, I want to have room for more than just one thing, so I don't want to dedicate my whole collection to just a lot of Dragon Ball real estate. I want to keep a good variety. And this I thought was really interesting. Lego Jack Stone. I'm not really familiar with this at all. I remember the character a bit. I think this was a little bit, I don't know if it says, yeah, 2001. So I was getting a little bit older at that point. But I really loved the Lego stuff in the 90s. I thought there were some really cool things that they were doing. I had a Lego Wild Wild West, you know, toy play set, whatever you want to call it. I thought that was really cool. And then they had a series where they teamed up with, I think, Steven Spielberg, and then they were doing these sets where you would get these Legos and you can create these stop animation shorts, and I thought that was really awesome. I really loved that, and it was like one of my first introductions to using a computer, because it gave you software and a camera to do these little stop animation shorts, and that was a lot of fun. I want to do a deep dive video on that series because I just thought at the time that was one of the coolest things as a kid. So then we got Dora the Explorer Christmas. Now, I have one or two Dora tapes. This wasn't something that I really ever watched other than when I was at the pediatrician as a kid. It seemed like this would always come on Nick Jr. and, you know, they would just keep it on the kids channel. So, you know, it's not a series that I really love, although I did really enjoy that live action movie that they put out a few years ago. I thought that was really fun. But as far as this, I expanded my Nickelodeon collection, so I have room to add a little more, and I really love holiday tapes, like mainly Christmas and Halloween. So I figured, you know, why not? We'll pick it up and add it to the collection. Rainbow Fish. I did not know that there was an animated series of Rainbow Fish tapes that came out. I really only remembered the book from when I was a kid. So I saw this, I thought that was pretty interesting, and it's a good piece of history to have in my collection of VHS tapes. Three Ninjas. Now, I have 2 out of the 3 movies. I don't remember if this is the one that I don't have. I have to take a look and see. I have the one with Hulk Hogan, but I'm not sure if I have this one or the first movie, so I'm gonna have to take a look and see. We got Robots, another movie from that weird transition from 2D to 3D animation. I remember this movie was okay. You know, I was older when it came out. I think I do have, yep, I do have it on PS2, so have to have the accompanying piece. Got Super Day for Hire. Really rad Fox Kids show. Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, I have, I think, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Screener tape that they sent to the stores or sent out on a promotion to get people excited about the new series. I don't think I actually had a tape from the series itself, so I saw this out, grabbed it. I thought, why not? It'll be cool to have. Then Superman versus the Monster and Villains. I think this is, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is from that original cartoon series recolorized, and the art and everything from that original series, I wish I could remember the name of the animator that did it, but it's really gorgeous, and the styling and it just looks really cool. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. It's really worth revisiting, even though it came out in the 40s, it still holds up in my opinion. And then Ghostbusters, but not the real Ghostbusters, the Filmation Ghostbusters, which is really cool. I had actually got one of these tapes for Valentine's Day for my wife, and then I saw this one and I wanted to grab it as well. Now there's a legend around the Filmation Ghostbusters where the company who was handling producing and distributing the VHS tapes, they reused adult films and recorded over them, but didn't record all the way. So there were tapes that went out that has an adult sequence all the way at the tail end of the tape, and then they had to recall them and refund people's money and things like that. So always when you pop these tapes in, it's like always curious what is gonna play at the end of it. So Johnny Quest, really cool series. I have Johnny Quest already, but I wanted to get this. And then I'm still looking for, what is it called, the real Johnny Quest, or it came out later in the 90s where everything was going through that transition where it was like Extreme Ghostbusters and I think, was it Extreme G.I. Joes as well. They started like doing these like 90s era takes on these classic shows, but I saw this, thought it was really cool. This wasn't one that I was gonna leave. Gotta think Boomerang, man. Like they kept all those old series alive and made them accessible for kids who didn't experience them at the time they were out, but got to experience them years later. And then I have Young Indiana Jones, The Peacock's Eye, which whenever you see Young Indiana Jones at thrift stores, it's always that tape. But I finally found 2 Young Indiana Jones tapes that aren't The Peacock's Eye. So this is The Phantom Train of Doom, and then we have Daredevils of the Desert. So really cool. I was really happy to finally find some other Young Indiana Jones tapes. Okay, and then we'll start wrapping this up. So I had gotten a couple brand spanking new Doug VHS tapes. So I did a video on the chronological order of the Doug series, where it was Doug on Nickelodeon, then Disney bought the animation studio, and then it became brand spanking new Doug, and then later it became Disney's Doug, and then they re-released the season 5 through 6 as, instead of it being called brand spanking new, they just rethemed it to be Disney's Doug. And it's kind of convoluted, but an interesting history where I think it's the only example where Nickelodeon didn't renew the contract for Doug and let Disney swoop in and steal it from them. Okay, and then transitioning a little bit into some Halloween-y stuff, but still children friendly. Mad Balls. I didn't realize that Mad Balls had animated movies produced. There's this Mad Balls Gross Jokes, and then there was a movie that came out before this. But I saw it, thought it was really cool, had to have it. It's just an interesting piece of marketing history. Then we got Max and Ruby Halloween. I hated this show. I was older when it was out, but I thought Max was so annoying and Ruby wasn't much better. The whole show just was so irritating for me to watch. But like I said, I love seasonal episodes. So if I'm going to have Max and Ruby in my collection, this might as well be a Halloween tape. it'll make it somewhat bearable for me. Then this one's really cool. I had my eye out for this for a while. Monster in My Pocket. This is, I think, ended up being the only release made for this show. So it's kind of special. I think they made other episodes, but it didn't do well with the ratings, so I think the rest of it is lost media, and this is the only thing that was ever actually released that was produced. And then I love the Addams Family. I love the first movie. I love Addams Family Values. I thought that one's great. I love the dark humor, the performances, and everything. This one doesn't get a lot of love though. Addams Family Reunion, where this is the one with Tim Curry replacing who is it? Julia. I can't remember his name, but I think following up the old actor's performance, the guy's a legend. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, but incredible performance in the Street Fighter movie, incredible performance in the Addams Family. So I think going in, you already have a hard job. You know, how do you compete with that? And I remember this, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I remembered it kind of sucked. But I love this oddball stuff. I wanted to get it, so I finally found one and decided to bring it home to the collection. So I'm looking forward to actually going back and watching it again, and trying to see if it's as bad as I remember. I know there's that weird series that came out that aired in the 90's for the Addams Family as well. I don't know if there's any VHS releases that were made for that show, but I'd love to have that in my collection. So that's all I got. This is kind of a long one, but I think I got some really cool things here, some really fun stuff that'll go into the collection, and you know, continuing to have a nicely curated collection of all these you know, animated movies and shows from the 80's and 90's. And I love when people say, hey, do you have this? And I can actually pull it out and say like, hey, I do. And every so often I get stumped. There's you know, I have a lot here, but there's still some more to go. So that's all I got, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next time.